Welcome back.
Test.
Test. Can you hear me? Welcome back, everyone, to the bunker here in Downsview Park in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I am the Derby Nerd, joined by Monochrome.
Hey there. How's everybody doing?
We're doing double duty tonight. We just got off the track from the B team versus B team game between the Toronto Roller Derby and the Killamazoo Derby Darlins. If you missed it, the Bay Street Bruisers, Toronto Roller Derby's B team, just was victorious over the Killamazoo Killa Crew 268 to 129, and now it's time for the main event. CN Power comes in here ranked 14th, and they're facing off against the 13th ranked Killamazoo Derby Darlins. Both members of the former, North Central region of the WFTDA. So, Chrome, what are your thoughts early on in this one?
It's hard to say. I mean, we certainly walked into the Bruisers game not knowing what we were facing, and it was a lot of back and forth, push and pull. I think both teams were pretty evenly matched, but the Bruisers practice with CN Power on a regular basis, and they are significantly better than our team. Like, we're actually building up to something as good as where they are at, and they've been working really hard this season, even though we're really early into the year. They spent their Christmas working out and being in skates the whole time, so I think that it could be anybody's bout.
Yeah, and it is hard to judge. Both of these teams come from leagues that have vastly different league structures. CN Power is built off of Toronto Roller Derby that has a home team system that creates a B team and an A team, and Killamazoo Derby Darlins are an ABC league. So just travel teams from Killamazoo. And this Killamazoo team is also somewhat unknown. They have played a ton of games over the last 2 years. They've been busy girls. Last year they played 18 games, 15 of them at WFTDA Sanctioned bouts. They went 11-4 in those WFTDA games. And as we said, they climbed hard. I believe they started the year at 20, have climbed all the way up to 13th now. One spot ahead of CN Power, based largely on a bout that happened in the fall. CN Power losing to the Grand Raggedy Roller Girls out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Killamazoo scored a big victory over Grand Rapids in the fall, and I believe that allowed them to pull ahead of them in the rankings. So a lot on the line tonight for these two teams. Both teams sitting in about Division 2 in the new WFTDA division system. Both would like to improve that significantly, I think. So you're taking a look right now at the Grand Rapids, the Killamazoo roster, the Killamazoo Derby Darlins. Now, they were here 2 years ago. They came to Downsview Park for a bout. Now, that was a very, very different team. And Toronto Roller Derby, CN Power, had a little bit of an easy time in that game. They won 197-35. That was back in 2011. I do not expect the same sort of result tonight. Killamazoo's going to bring it. All right, well, let's take a look at the... Should we take a look at the rosters?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's take a look at the rosters.
We got some time.
So our visitors, the Killamazoo Derby Darlins. First, number 7, Ramona DeFlowers. Number 13, Lily St. Smear. Number 33, Javelin, a veteran on the Killamazoo team. Number 45, Calamity Kate. She's doing double duty tonight also. She just played in the B team game for the Killa Crew. Number 53, Rockicass. I hope I said that. Rockicass. You got to say that quickly to get it right. Number 56, Terrorhawk. Number 89, Jessie Girl. 314, Heckler, who also has done double duty tonight. She also plays for the Killa Crew. Number 365, another veteran, Miss B. Haven. Number 1150, Nevasoba, transfer from Paper Valley on the Killamazoo Derby Darlins. Number 1313, Doobie Trap. Number 1837, Jane Deere. Number 1986, Rosie Ferocious. And Skate, number Skate, Goin' Commando. Your 2013 Killamazoo Derby Darlins.
And for CN Power, we have number 2, Deffa Caitlin. Number 2020 is Candy Crossbones. Number 21 is Dinah Hercha. Number 212 is Lady Gaga. Number 22 is Mia Culprit. Number 23 is Betty Bomber. Number 26 is Megamouth. Number 27 is Jubilee. Number 2x4 is Nasher the Smasher. Number 33 is Bambi. Number 7, Rebel Rocket. Number 807 is Cookie Dough. Number 99 is Pantyhose. And number L7 is Tear Apart. Working the bench for CN Power is the Reverend Ramirez and Sonic Doom.
Now, once again, both of these teams coming off of pretty successful years in the WFTDA, both climbed quite a bit. Toronto Roller Derby ended the year kind of on a down note, losing their final game of the season to the Grand Rapids girls, but overall they went 9-2 on the WFTDA season last year. And previous to that loss against Grand Rapids, they'd won 6 games in a row, so they were on quite a hot streak before that loss. The Killamazoo Derby Darlins also ended the season quite hot. They had won 6 games in a row as well before losing in a little bit of an upset to Neo Roller Girls, but they did end their season on a big note with a big victory over the Black and Bluegrass Roller Girls, a 3-12-69 victory to end the 2012 season. So both these teams had big breakthrough years in the WFTDA last year. Both will be certainly looking to make an impact early on in this season.
And certainly a lot of changes. I think 2013 is the year of change, especially in Toronto. CN Power just recently pulled off of many of their home teams. Most of these skaters are now skating exclusively for CN Power, and so that's going to certainly bring them up in their skill levels throughout the year. And we're also working with a new WFTDA rule set.
That's right. Yeah, this is the first game in Toronto under that new WFTDA rule set. A little bit of a learning curve, I think. There were a lot of penalties in the B team game earlier on this evening. A lot of cutting penalties, a lot of direction and gameplay penalties. No minors exist for those classifications anymore. So I think it's going to take a little time for teams to adjust, but I also think we're going to see tighter packs because of this. I think we're going to see a lot cleaner play, maybe a little more conservative play, but I don't mind slow derby, so we might see a little more slow derby coming out of the new rule set. Yeah, so big change again for Toronto Roller Derby this year. This CN Power team, they have pulled themselves from their house league, so that makes the Bay Street Bruisers now the Toronto Roller Derby all-star team. And we saw them earlier. But a lot of fan favorites on the CN Power team. A new era, I think, for CN Power, and we'll see what they can do with it. Few new skaters on your Toronto Roller Derby CN Power roster this year. Ballerina, number 905, a new skater. She is a call-up for the Bay Street Bruisers. She'll be playing on CN Power this season. Number 60, Chronic, not in the game tonight. Also another call-up. And Rennie Rumble, the other new skater on CN Power this season. The rest of the skaters are all veteran CN Power skaters, have at least one full season under their belts. A few shout-outs we'd like to give out. We hear there's a lot of East Coast. Apparently there's a lot of East Coast people watching. We heard that Shreddy Crocker is watching from Muddy River, leading a watching crew in Moncton, New Brunswick. So we'd like to say hi to them. A lot of East Coast referees watching tonight. I'm sure there's a few East Coast skaters out there too. So thanks for watching, and thanks for the comments online. Also like to take this opportunity to thank our TORD TV crew for the evening. On the cameras, we've got Uncivil Servant, Demolition Dawn, and Tushy Galore, formerly known as Cindy Dropper. We've got Gladiatrix is she's our announcer runner. Yes, she's the announcer runner. And of course, the production, direction, and technical crew is all being headed up by Layer 9. Visit him at layer9.ca and Tropic Thunder. CN Power, the home team, entering the track right now. You can hear the cheer. Pretty good crowd for the season opener in the bunker in Downsview Park. CN Power's first game of 2013. You know, CN Power suffered a lot of injuries last year, and we're seeing the return in this game of a few skaters, including fan favorite Defa Caitlin, who in 2013 will be skating as Dusty on the home team.
Oh, okay.
And Tara Part, number L7, longtime. They call her Mama T. She's an important part of this team, and she was out for 6 months last year, which was a huge loss for the CN Power team. So they are missing a couple key skaters in that game in Grand Rapids. No Dust Bunny, no Nasher the Smasher, no Tara Part. So they're hoping for a different result here tonight. And there is Tara Part, number L7, the returning skater. She has suffered a couple pretty devastating injuries in her career and just keeps coming back, and it's almost like the rehab makes her stronger.
It's true.
Chrome, you've suffered a pretty major injury. Is that something that happens?
Did.
Rehab can make you stronger?
Yeah, it's mentally jarring, right? Like, this is something that's so important to every skater that plays roller derby. This is your life. It becomes your new friends, your new everything, and you can't stop talking about roller derby. So to have that suddenly ripped out of your life is really jarring and really upsetting. So personally, and I know that Tara and I have both commiserated on this, the second that cast comes off, you're doing rehab, you're constantly working harder. And I was in the best shape of my life just 6 months after breaking my leg because of that drive to get back to skating and get back in their skate. So certainly it does make you stronger, and certainly shows you what you could be missing.
Yeah, and it is something that I've heard a lot of athletes say in many different sports, that coming back from a major injury also makes them just more aware of their body and how to take care of their body. Yes. So it's nice to see. You certainly take your
glucosamine a lot more frequently.
Yes. All right, we've got the anthems done in the B team game, so we're going to go right onto the track. Derby Darlins. This is the Killamazoo A team taking to the track first. CN Power is going to be at the front of this scrum start. Under the new WFTDA rule set this season, one single whistle will get the game started. No minors.
No scrum starts.
Or all scrum starts, you could say, I guess.
Yeah.
They're just starts
Nobody's
now.
on
They're
a
just
knee.
starts
They're
now.
just starts.
Dust Bunny out there for this opening jam.
Yeah. But old habits die hard. Both teams are lining up on the jammer line rather than letting their team get a head start.
And it is 13-13 Doobie Trap now pushing her way to the front of that CN Power Pack. There's a front wall. She's through. Lead jammer, Derby Darlins. Doobie Trap having a birthday yesterday. She's a little fired up. Yeah. She obviously, maybe she's saving her birthday celebration for tonight. Doobie Trap now entering on the scoring pass. Dust Bunny having a hard time at the back of the pack. She's finally through, and it looks like she's going to get through the pack.
CN Power trying to save their points.
Oh, and nice blocking from Lady Gaga, co-captain here on CN Power. She is wearing the C tonight. Nice block to hold that jammer back and keep that scoring down. Saved 1 point, 3-0 opening jam for Derby Darlins. Do you think it was just the Derby Darlins getting the back of that pack on the start?
It could be. It looks like CN Power is actually giving them a little bit, but almost taking on a 45-degree angle and splitting up that line across. So
there is a penalty for CN Power. It's going to be a 4-3 pack advantage for the Derby Darlins here. Cookie Dough, second-year skater with CN Power out there right now, number 807. Oh, and nice work from Nasha the Smasher on Terrorhawk, veteran jammer for the Derby Darlins, number 56. First lead jammer of the game for CN Power.
Hoser trying to pull some points for her jammer. Cookie Dough getting stuck at the back, and she calls it before anything can happen.
And was she able to pick up any before getting dragged out? She was not.
CN Power scores 2 points on that pass.
2 points. Sorry, thank you. So 3-2 is the score now after 2 jams, 2 minutes in. Rebel Rocket out there jamming for CN Power. Traditional pivot. She really started jamming last year when CN Power went through some injury trouble, and she had some success. So something that they're going to continue.
Now, she did start off her career with roller derby jamming.
Oh,
because of those long legs, yeah.
Back in for the Bruisers, way back in the day?
Yeah, back for the Bruisers when the Bruisers were a home team. Back in the day, in 2008, she did start off as a jammer pivot.
And this is a great pack battle going on right now. Oh, and it looks like power jam for CN Power. First mistake of the game goes to the Derby Darlins. Rebel Rocket now working a power jam. Tear apart out there with Lady Gaga and Dinah Hercha looking for some big offense here. Dinah trying to push from the outside. Rebel Rocket goes right through the middle.
Yep. Something I noticed Killamazoo likes to do is actually forces them to the back of that pack and make that back wall in hopes that they can actually hold back the jammer, but it looks like Rebel Rock is just pushing through that wall and pushing them right into her own players.
Yeah, it is a dead pack now at turn 2 for CN Power. Nevesoba leaving the pack for the Derby Darlins on this penalty kill. And she is doing a nice job right now, one-on-one.
Rebel doing a great job pushing.
Going commando, going to bridge now, out of play. Rebel Rocket through for 5 more points. Looks like it's going to be 12-3 now for CN Power. 50 seconds left in this jam. Oh, Rebel Rock with a nice move to the inside, and she's through for 5 more points.
Certainly the lead they needed.
Jammer back on the track quickly, and it looks like she came in. I was going to say that's Rosie Ferocious, another veteran, came in front of her own skaters. Huge mental error coming out of the penalty box. When you re-enter the penalty box, you must enter behind every skater. Illegal procedure sends CN Power on another 1-minute power jam. 15 seconds remaining in this.
CN Power doing a great job of sweeping all of the Killamazoo players into the inside line.
Killamazoo running into a lot of penalty trouble now here early on. Only 2 on the track on this penalty kill. 3 now joined as Javelin returns in the pack.
Just in the nick of time. That could have been a back block, but Rebel just pushed through and whistle saved her.
Massive lead now for Toronto Roller Derby. CN Power 31-3. 4.5 minutes into this first half. Impressive start. Taking advantage of the first mistake. Rosie Ferocious getting back-to-back major jammer penalties. This is she's been around Killamazoo for a long time. She's a veteran skater. She definitely knows better than that. Just a little mental mistake. Bambi out there now, number 33 in pink for CN Power on this power jam. 2 debris to the front. She's through, lead jammer. CN Power is going to try and increase this lead here. Only 4 jams into this game. They've got quite a big lead. And Bambi, longtime veteran of both Toronto Roller Derby and CN Power, part of that original CN Power roster in 2008.
Kalamazoo seems to really like to pull that pack backwards. I'm hearing some whistles, and that was Panny Hose going to the penalty box. Looks like a directional gameplay.
CN Power's done a good job of staying out of the penalty box so far. Panny Hoser with the first penalty. Oh, and Bambi takes a big hit on turn 3. Nice defense as Rosie Ferocious comes back on for the Killamazoo Derby Darlins, and she is through on her first pass. Bambi's going to pick up a few more points, and she's going to call it. Huge pickup over those couple jams.
Absolutely.
I think Killamazoo, this is exactly what they did not want to happen.
Exactly.
Coming in on CN Power's home track, allowing them to get out to a big league early.
Yeah.
Textbook for the home team, though.
Yeah.
45-3 now, 6 minutes in to this first half. Dusty back out there against Doobie Trap. Second jam, they face off against each other. Dusty's got a 2-wall at the front now. Nice work by Lady Gaga to pull Doobie Trap way back. And Dusty is through, your lead jammer.
Javelin for Killamazoo going to the penalty box. Looks like a failure to reform the pack.
Some more penalty trouble for Killamazoo early on in this game.
That's definitely a tricky one, and we definitely ran into that with the Bruisers game just an hour ago.
Ooh, a late call from the jam ref doesn't result in any missed points, but Dusty looking good so far early on in her return from quite a long and significant ACL injury, I believe. So Defa Caitlin looking good. 50-3 now, 7 minutes into this one. Lifetime CN Power is 2-0 against the Killamazoo Derby Darlins. Both pretty significant victories, but as I said, back when this Killamazoo team was significantly different. Cookie Dough out there now jamming for CN Power, and she breaks through for lead jammer. Terror Hawk being held by Betty Bomber and Nasher Smasher at the back.
Panny Hoser coming back from the penalty box. Looks like she flew right into the back. I think she might be getting sent out for that. Yep.
Oh, and Panny Hoser off on the track and back off again.
That Killamazoo player just turned her back at the right moment. And it looks like Betty Bomber just went to the penalty box as well.
First spate of penalty troubles now for CN Power. Cookie Dough making that call.
4 points on that pass.
Now, one problem that CN Power's had in the past is they get a little fired up on the bench. This is a team that takes its roller derby very seriously, but they seem very calm and collected right now, riding a lot of penalty troubles early on. 3-2 pack advantage right now for Killamazoo. Rosie Ferocious out there to jam against Rebel Rocket, number 7 in the pink. And Rosie Ferocious bursts through that line, and she's got one to beat. Dinah Hurchin now at the front and lead jammer for Killamazoo Derby Darlins.
Dinah trying to give her a chase down, but she finally clears off the pack for Rebel.
Rebel Rocket is through, trying to make up about half a track, though, and Rosie Ferocious is approaching her on her scoring pass. A nice, quick pace line from Dinah Hercha and Betty Bomber at the front. Nevesoba trying to pull one back, and she does. There's some points for Killamazoo. Rosie Ferocious trying to get all of those points before she calls it off, and she does. Oh, it looked like a one-hip hit on that one.
Yeah.
I don't believe that was a legal call-off, is it? It's got to hit 2 hands on the hips. I don't know. Nonetheless, her intention was clear.
Yeah.
Yes. Very experienced ref crew for this game. Harrison Ford is our head referee tonight. Penny Whistler reffing adorable on the outside with parking lot. And it looks like Bonesy Adams also inside. Sorry, back in the action now here. Very aggressive jam from the Killamazoo Derby Darlin jammer. And a lead jammer now for the visitors. That is Doobie Trap yet again. She's having a strong night so far for Killamazoo.
Looks like Bambi's gaining on her, hoping to stop her in the pack before she can call it. Not in time for CN Power to pick up any points. Both teams, 0 points on that pass.
Pantyhoser was stuck at the back of the pack. She did a good job of protecting her point there and making sure that that was a 0-0 jam. But once again, only 2 on the track for CN Power. 4-2 pack advantage for Killamazoo. Lady Gaga, Nasher the Smasher out there in pink for the home team. Nevesoba getting a lot of track time, number 1150 in white, pivoting right now. And little jockeying off the jammer line now between Terror Hawk and Dusty. And Dust Bunny able to split that 3-pack, but a little too late. Terror Hawk is your lead jammer, Killamazoo.
Oh, huge hit by Javelin, but not enough to take her down.
Yeah, Dust Bunny did a good job to avoid the blunt of that hit.
And she's free from the pack.
Trickless Musician is that jammer ref. I didn't get his name in when I was on that referee call-out. He's up from Killamazoo for the weekend. Deuce Willis visiting from the Hammer City Roller Girls, another WFTDA team. Killamazoo on a bit of a Canadian road trip right now. They'll head down the 401 tomorrow to take on the Hammer City Roller Girls, another WFTDA sanctioned matchup. Rosie Ferocious out there once again for the Killamazoo Derby Darlins against Cookie Dough in pink for the home team, CN Power.
He's having trouble
Mia
against
Culprit, tear apart, some nice work.
And that looks like it might have been a track cut. No.
Ramona D. Flowers is the pivot right now for Killamazoo, trying to lead this pack. It is a 3-1 brief advantage for Dinah Hercha, against Dinah Hercha. But Cookie Dough does a good job to split that wall up.
A little bit of a late call there.
And that does allow 4 points to be picked up also by Killamazoo. Reverend Ramirez entering the middle of the track. Should mention on the benches tonight for the 2 teams for the Killamazoo Derby Darlins, we've got Battle Axe and the Dude in there right now with Reverend Ramirez from CN Power. Reverend Ramirez joined on the bench by Sonic Doom. This is actually the 3rd year that the bench staff has been the same for CN Power. Getting a little consistency. Reverend Ramirez, former coach also of the Gorgor Roller Girls. He, like the skaters on CN Power, has pulled himself from the home team, no longer bench managing the Gores this year. So the Dude obviously not happy with something, having a conversation with Harrison Ford, asking, I believe, for, I don't think he hasn't taken it, it's an official timeout. One thing that hasn't changed, that each team will get 3 timeouts for this game and 1 official review per half. And this does not look like it's an official review, but Killamazoo definitely unhappy with something. 63-13 is the score. 17-15 remaining in this first half. Again, if you're just tuning in, thanks for tuning in. This is TORD TV. You might probably watching through Canuck Derby TV, our partners in crime. I am the Derby Nerd here with Monochrome. Second game of a doubleheader live at the Bunker, Downsview Park in Toronto. Special hello to all of those watchers south of the border in Michigan watching your Killamazoo Derby Darlins. Thanks for tuning in.
I didn't have time to get my Down with Detroit Michigan t-shirt, unfortunately. I am a native of Michigan, so this is
That's
very
right.
exciting for me to...
You are an expat,
Yeah.
but I think your allegiance is clear.
Yeah, I haven't had enough beers to actually sound like a Michigander, but I provide all of the interpretations that I need.
Maybe you've just been in Canada too long now.
I think so. It's been about 10 years.
All right, short packs. It's micro packs here, and nice job by number 13 Doobie Trap. Another lead jammer for her.
Javelin throwing a good hit on Rebel, and again, she's just tapping her out. Oh.
Javelin, another veteran of this team. The Rebel Rocket still in her first pass now, facing off against a really tough two-wall.
Yep.
Nevasoba and Javelin finally through. Second scoring pass, though, for Doobie Trap. Again, penalty trouble from both of these teams early on. We have another micro pack here, 2-2 packs. And Bonesy Adams waiting. The jammer looking. I was wondering about that. Yeah. Cut major. Second power jam for CN Power, and Rebel Rocket once again on the track, and Mia Culper tear apart coming into the penalty box to give them full contingent in the pack.
Killamazoo once again pulling to the back, forcing that pack backwards towards Rebel Rocket. Not sure that that strategy is really working for them. But I think they are trying to make a tight wall in the back there, and it's not really, it's only proving to bring their pack closer to the jammer.
Yeah, interesting strategy. I think CN Power will be happy to skate backwards for as long as they want on this power jam. And Mia Culprit now finally going back with Javelin to do so. Oh, and a nice job by Mia Culprit, sacrificing her body there, taking a huge hit, but opening up that inside for Rebel Rocket. Nevasoba the pivot back on the track for Killamazoo as Nasha the Smasher heads to the penalty box for CN Power. Betty Bomber trying to clear a path, but Rebel Rocket caught behind the pivot in white, Nevasoba.
Rebel taking that opening that Killamazoo just opened up for their jammer. Jammer forgetting that Rebel Rocket was not lead.
Yeah, asking for that fifth point from the jammer, but I think she was a lap ahead, so.
Yeah.
So 4 points picked up for Doobie Trap coming out of the penalty box. 88-21, and pretty significant lead as we near the halfway mark of this first half.
I must say, Nerd, I am a bit concerned with the amount of penalties that are being awarded here.
Yeah, I think the only reason, the only thing that's positive that both teams seem to be getting a lot of penalties. So
should be interesting to see how short these benches are by the end of this game.
Yeah, and which team will eventually start taking advantage of all of these troubles and which team will tighten up. Bambi is your lead jammer. Really, really nice work from Jubilee and Dinah Hercha at the back of the pack defense right now.
Terrorhawk gets past Jubilee at the front of the pack just as Bambi enters the back.
Oh, Bambi takes a big hit there from Heckler, I believe. Oh, but 4 points stolen there, I believe, from, yes, she gets all 4. So CN Power a little slow on the call. Terrahawk able to pick up 4. This first half is just breezing by. There's only 13:42 remaining. We're 12 jams into this second half. Fast derby.
It looks like 3-3 on the pack there.
3-3 in the pack, yes. So again, we haven't seen 5-on-5 since the opening jam, I don't think. Rosie ferocious, just ferocious off that jam line. Big, strong jammer. Very agile as well, though, but she's going to get called for a major cut, and she knew it as soon as it happened. So it looks like another power jam for CN Power. Huge disadvantage right now for Killamazoo, and that seems to be the major difference so far here in the first half, is just keeping those jammers on the track. And again, that backwards pack.
Yep.
And I think Cookie Dough is going to eat that right up.
Yep.
Oh, a nice little leap, but she couldn't stay in bounds. Cookie Dough fighting her through one-on-one now. Makes a nice move on going commando. 5 more points, another grand slam for the CN Power jammer.
Once again, that pack moving backwards. It's very dangerous with this new rule set. That direction of play is so easy to call off. And we noticed that with the Bruisers game against Killamazoo. All you have to do is stand in front of somebody moving backwards, and they're off in the penalty box.
I do think that eventually this rule set will result in less penalties, but I think there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve
There is a
early
learning
on,
curve for sure.
and we'll probably see more penalties right now.
And at this stage of the game, it's really going to come down to who's paying attention and who's been practicing these rules since they were announced.
Rosie Ferocious back on the track, not lead. She got through in her first pass, though. She is now on a scoring pass. Cookie Dough through for 4 more, and she calls it out. Timeout now by Killamazoo. A well-timed timeout, I would think. They are now down significantly, 116-24. CN Power looking really good in the early going of this one.
A lot of lines playing short, and they're still keeping it together, keeping the jammers behind them. And just deking away from those big hits that Killamazoo is throwing out.
So the dude electing to call a timeout. Earlier on in the game tonight, if you watch the first half of this doubleheader, it was a key timeout, I think, in the second half that turned things around for the Bay Street Bruisers.
Yeah.
As the Killer Crew had pulled within 4 at one point early on. CN Power took a timeout and ended up cruising, or the Bruisers took a timeout, ended up cruising the rest of the way. I think Killamazoo hoping for something similar here. How important is that, Chrome, as a skater, to take that moment where you have a little bit of a break, collect yourself, go back out there?
Yeah, it's funny because early in Derby, it was really like you used your timeout so that you could rest. And now that everyone's endurance is up and you can just, you're only playing maybe 12 to 20 lines per skater at any given game. So it really is a piece of cake. Those timeouts are really more of a mental break now, and really just allowing yourself to focus, breathe, really think about what you're doing and keeping it down to simplicity. Because it's very easy when you're getting mangled out there to get in this chaotic mindset. And if you can just take those few seconds to stop and breathe and focus, it can change the game.
That's true. Yeah, even at its most tight and its least penalized, Derby is still a bit of a chaos game out there on the track. There's a lot of bodies doing a lot of different things at once, offense, defense simultaneously. Back on the track now, though, Dusty is your lead jammer, and again, just brilliant back-of-the-pack defense from Tara Parks, Lady Gaga, and Jubilee, and Dinah Hercha. Dust Bunny, 2 to work with. A nice hit from the Killamazoo pivot.
Feeding her right back into that pack, forcing her around all of the skaters. But Dust Bunny gets around.
Lots of bodies falling out there. That is Ramona DeFlowers, if you're wondering, the pivot for the Killamazoo Derby Darlins. Lady Gaga pivoting in pink for CN Power. Dusty goes through on the outside, picks up 4 quick points and calls it off. So nice job by CN Power. Killamazoo, I think, hoping to slow down that momentum on that timeout. CN Power is the one that comes out, gets lead, gets 4, and calls it.
Yeah.
125 to 124 now, your updated score. Just over 10 minutes remaining in this first half. Wow, now I was talking with a couple Derby pundits before this game, and no one predicted. I talked about 6 different people. No one predicted that the difference at any point in this game would be more than 50 points. So this is quite a significant start for CN Power. Multiplayer balk being called then. Nevasoba heading to the penalty box. Rebel Rocket through, lead jammer.
Javelin throwing a dirty hit against CN Power. She's going to the penalty box for that.
Javelin getting a little frustrated.
Hard, but not the right direction.
She's getting a little frustrated early on in this game. Javelin, a veteran skater. letting the game get to her, but nice work again. Nasher the smasher, and Candy Crossbones, number 2020 in pink. You probably know her as a jammer. She's committed to blocking this season and is doing an amazing job right now, one-on-one against that jammer. Now, do you think having that experience as a jammer is going to help her in blocking?
Absolutely.
She just seemed to be able to follow that jammer's movements, stick with their one-on-one.
Well, that's the thing. You start to think like a jammer, and once you go into the pack, I love seeing skaters change positions throughout their careers, because you really, Rebel as a pivot knows where the pack should be, where her pack needs to be. And I've seen her directing that pack as like an old school mama hen pivot as a jammer, then switching that gear and still using that knowledge she still has. And you see that change with Candy Crossbones too as a blocker, where she knows where that jammer wants to be, and so long as she can get there first, and she's got that footwork on her side as well.
Yeah, she was always a very physical, very strong jammer, so it almost seems natural to slip her into the pack, but great start in this game and this season. I know she blocked a bit against Grand Rapids at the end of 2012. Bambi through once again, juking and jiving. She can squeeze her way through those tiniest of holes.
Definitely a classic jammer.
And Jessie Girl now, number 89, jamming for Killamazoo. She is through on her first pass. Bambi trying to pick up 4. She falls. Bench telling her to call it. She calls it a little too late. And just 2 picked up for Killamazoo.
I will give Killamazoo a lot of credit when we're talking about those role reversals in the pack. Their jammers are so physical, and they're not getting by on a slight frame sticking through the pack. They really do plow through and take their points, which is really exciting to watch.
Speaking of that, Doobie Trap is out there. She's had a really good night for Killamazoo. She's very physical. Looks like an official timeout's going to be called. Heckler, number 314, pivoting for the Killamazoo Derby Darlins. She played earlier in the night against the B team, so this is her second game of the evening. So referee's trying to figure something out here. Looks like they're trying to adjust the penalty box. So again, 1:43, 26, 8 minutes remaining in the first half. CN Power, now as we mentioned earlier, ranked 1 spot behind Killamazoo in the WFTDA's North Central region. So a little bit of a surprise. But I wouldn't count Killamazoo out at all right now.
No. This lead just took too little time to come up that it could go either way. We still have 40 minutes left in this game.
Exactly. And it looks like the penalty situation has been sorted out. Taking a look now at the crowd here in the bunker. This is the first game of the 2013 season for Toronto Roller Derby. The next game for Toronto Roller Derby will be a road game, actually, in Fort Wayne. That will be Boutcast on Saturday, February 16th, another doubleheader featuring CN Power and the Bay Street Bruisers. Official timeout is over. Cookie Dough facing the front wall. CN Power, all 4 holding Doobie Trap at the back now as Cookie Dough fights her way through for lead jammer. Oh, nice block from Betty Bomber. Forcing Booby Trap out, and Nasher the Smasher now taking a turn.
Cookie Dough. Natural grand slam.
Brilliant work right now from CN Power in the pack. Betty Bomber pivoting this fantastic jam for CN Power. Cookie Dough through for another one. Looks like she's going to be called on the cut. She came around turn 3 on 1 foot. Thought she'd made it. Trickless Magician, though, saw a wheel go out and calls her first power jam of the game for Killamazoo. Oh, and it looks like we have a penny pass. Heckler now taking the star from Doobie Trap.
And getting blocked the whole time. I don't know if this penny pass is going to actually happen.
Cookie Dough is your lead jammer now in the penalty box. 1 minute remaining in this jam. So they'll have a full minute to work with now. Heckler is now through on her first pass. CN Power, though, has that front of the pack, and they're going to move it. Killamazoo holding back. Looks a little reluctant to play slow derby.
Yeah. It's like Killamazoo wants to take him out, but CN Power is a fast team. They're keeping it fast.
That's right. Against a little bit of a strategic miscue, perhaps. CN Power will pace line this for as long as they want, and they are keeping that pack at the front. This is exactly what CN Power wants in this penalty kill. So Killamazoo's Doobie Trap falling into the trap of just allowing the pack at the front, trying to take out Megaboosh. No such luck.
Oh, Megaboosh put their own player into her hips.
Finally, Killamazoo with a little bit of a trap, and Megaboosh going to head to the penalty box. Now, I know there's a lot of people who hate slow derby, but I've got to say that if Killamazoo is not willing to maybe vary their strategies a bit, they're going to have a hard time in the WFTDA this season.
Yeah. Just as there are fans of slow derby, there are also fans of fast derby, and it's really hard to determine which is real and which is the better way to play. I personally like to see all of that thinking that happens in a slow pack, whereas, we all know you can skate fast.
Exactly. Skate fast, turn left. How about skate slow? I like it all. I like bi-speedual derby.
Yeah.
All right, back on the track. Terrahawk is your lead jammer, a much-needed lead jam for the Killamazoo Derby Darlins. Caitlin, a.k.a. Dusty, though, making up a lot of track quickly, and she's already scoring points, so she will steal at least two for CN Power. One and the box point. 2-2 jam. 153-31, just under 5 minutes remaining in the first half. If you're just tuning in, I'm the Derby Nerd here with Monochrome, the TORD TV crew, with a special presentation on Canuck Derby TV tonight. CN Power, the home team, in Toronto in pink. Killamazoo Derby Darlins in white from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Jessie Girl trying to fight through a two-wall of Mia Culprit and Asher the Smasher. No easy feat, but she does it, and she is your lead jammer. Second lead jam status in a row for Killamazoo. Rebel Wocket finally fighting her way through that front two-wall.
Killamazoo up in their game.
Pantyhoser with a nice job forcing the call and saving her points. 3 points, though, picked up. Another 3-3 pack out there. Nevasova pivoting against Lady Gaga in pink for CN Power.
A little dance action there on the track.
Megaboosh standing in the penalty box. Oh, a nice lead jam from Doobie Trap on the outside. Lead jam status given to Doobie Trap, third in a row for Killamazoo.
It's like Bambi's still stuck in the pack, and she just clears past Javelin, who has been called on a penalty.
Oh, Terrahawk takes a big hit, shakes it off, though, and still fighting for those final points. And it looks like she's going to get called on a cut major. Dinah Hercha. Some nice work on turn number one. Power jam suddenly for Bambi. And no lead jam, so a minute 20 seconds left in this jam. Yep. Looks like we're going to have at least a minute power jam. 5 points picked up on that Grand Slam.
Once again, Killamazoo moving that pack back. Looks like Dinah Herch is trying to open that middle line there. Bambi takes the outside.
Bambi took a big hit when she approached that wall. You can see she's breathing heavy on this pass. Hands on her hips, but she approaches again. She's not the kind of jammer that likes to slow down and take a look at those walls.
No.
She goes right in them. 5 more points for CN Power in total control here late in the first half. Jubilee getting sent off. Oh, and Megaboosh.
Hitting all her players into Bambi, but knocking them all down. So
Nevasova not happy. The Killamazoo pivot trapped at the front. Dinah Hercher holding her there. And Doobie Trap back on the track. Takes a big hit from Dinah Hercher, but holds off on it. Doobie Trap, a very tough jammer for Killamazoo Derby Darlins. Now Bambi being called on a cut.
Oh, Dinah Hercher out there alone.
And that's going to do it in the jam. Killamazoo now starting off in a power jam with Bambi in the box on a cut. That is one major change to the WFTDA rule set this year. You're allowed to cut one of your own teammates now, but that is it. One of any other skater, and will get you a penalty from the opposing team.
Yep.
So a big change in the rules. And Bambi cutting just one of the Killamazoo skaters on that one, but one's enough.
Yep.
And it's going to be a big advantage, too. 4-1 pack advantage on a power jam. And Bomber's just going to go. And again, Rosie Ferocious is going to go with her. The pack to be defined at the front. Worked out this time, though.
She kind of has to.
And Terrahawk through as your lead jammer. Lady Gaga back on the track for CN Power. Terrahawk through on the outside. Big 5-point pickup for the Killamazoo Derby Darlins.
Killamazoo separating those two CN Power players.
Nicely executed power jam
yeah.
right now for Killamazoo. Beautiful play, keeping the two blockers separated, as you mentioned, Chrome, and just opening up the middle of that track.
Jubilee back from the penalty.
Good patience for Jubilee, but just couldn't lock in Terrahawk, who had all the momentum on that pass. 5 more points. Now we see a little bit of slow derby from Killamazoo as they patiently hold back there. 4 more points picked up. A big pickup here for the Killamazoo Derby Darlins. It looks like that's going to bring us to half.
That happened so fast. CN Power sitting with 173 points. Killamazoo made it up to 58.
Wow. Very impressive half from CN Power. Not at all what I was expecting. I don't think in that game anyone was expecting. These two teams ranked so closely, such similar results against similar opponents. So this is a huge first half for CN Power in this one. So what do you think the difference was? Just managing those penalties? There was a lot of pack penalties on both sides for both those teams, but it seems like the jammer penalties went more the way of Killamazoo.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that both teams sat in the box quite a bit. I mean, as you said earlier, I think the only pack that we saw was that first one, 5-on-5, and everything else was 3-3, 3-2. I think CN Power definitely, when they only had 2 players, for the most part, they did hold on a lot stronger than Killamazoo did when they were in a similar situation. So, but in the end of that half, we saw Killamazoo really take advantage of CN Power. So hopefully they can keep that momentum going and narrow this gap.
Yeah, they had 3 straight leads at one point, but CN Power is still taking a massive advantage into the half, largely off of jammer penalties and power jam. So 173-62 is the halftime lead for CN Power. For Monochrome and the TORD TV crew, we'll be back in about 18 minutes for the second half of this WFTDA showdown.